If your idea of a hike is a walk in the park, you're in for a shock. Imagine a journey that takes you through the most remote and treacherous terrains, where the very air you breathe feels heavy with mystery and foreboding. This is not just any hike, this is the chilling saga of the Dyatlov Pass Incident, a story that has baffled experts and intrigued mystery enthusiasts for decades. Welcome to the eerie saga of the Dyatlov Pass Incident. This tale is set in the unforgiving wilderness of the Ural Mountains in Soviet Russia, a place where the landscape itself seems to whisper secrets, and the wind carries the echoes of untold stories. The Dyatlov Pass Incident is not just a story of a tragic expedition. It is a narrative woven with threads of mystery, fear, and the unknown. In January 1959, 9 skilled hikers from the Ural Polytechnical Institute embarked on an expedition to the remote Ural Mountains of Soviet Russia. These were not amateurs. They were experienced and well prepared for the harsh conditions they would face. Led by Igor Dyatlov, a seasoned hiker and leader, the group included 7 men and 2 women, all of whom were eager to conquer the peak of Otorten, a mountain known for its challenging terrain and unpredictable weather. Led by Igor Dyatlov, they aimed to conquer the peak of Otorten. The journey was meant to be a test of endurance and skill, a testament to their abilities as hikers. They meticulously planned their route, packed their gear, and set off with high spirits, unaware of the fate that awaited them. The first few days of the expedition went smoothly, with the group making good progress despite the harsh weather conditions. On February 1st, they set up camp on the slopes of Kholat Syakhl, ominously named Dead Mountain. The decision to camp on the exposed slopes rather than in the forested area below has puzzled many. Some speculate that Dyatlov wanted to practice camping on the slopes to prepare for the more challenging parts of their journey. Others believe they simply ran out of time and had to set up camp before nightfall. Whatever the reason, this decision would prove to be fateful. But when they failed to return, a search and rescue team made a grim discovery. The group was expected to send a telegram to their sports club as soon as they returned to Vizhai, the last inhabited settlement before the mountains. When no message arrived, their families and friends grew worried. A search and rescue operation was launched, involving fellow students, local volunteers, and eventually the military. What they found would haunt them forever. The hiker's tent was found abandoned, eerily standing alone in the vast snowy expanse. The scene was unsettling. The tent was half collapsed, covered in snow, and appeared to have been slashed open from the inside. It was as if the hikers had cut their way out in a desperate bid to escape something terrifying. The sight of the abandoned tent with all their belongings still inside sent chills down the spines of the searchers, slashed open from the inside. This detail was particularly disturbing. Why would experienced hikers who knew the dangers of the freezing cold abandon their shelter in such a manner? The tent contained their clothes, shoes, and other essential gear, indicating that whatever drove them out did so with such urgency that they didn't have time to dress properly. This was the first of many perplexing clues that would emerge. Their belongings and warm clothing left behind, as if they fled in sheer terror. The searchers found footprints in the snow, leading away from the tent. Some were barefoot, others wore only socks or a single shoe. The tracks suggested that the hikers had left the tent in a hurry, heading towards the nearby forest. The sheer terror that must have driven them to abandon their only source of warmth and protection is unimaginable. The bodies were found scattered, some in their underwear, in the freezing cold. The first 2 bodies were discovered at the edge of the forest, near the remains of a small fire. They were dressed only in their underwear, suggesting they had succumbed to hypothermia. The next 3 bodies were found between the tent and the forest, as if they were trying to return to the camp. They too were inadequately dressed for the freezing temperatures. 2 near the edge of the forest, lying close to each other as if they had tried to keep each other warm in their final moments. The sight of their lifeless bodies, partially covered in snow, was a stark reminder of the harshness of the environment they were in. The searchers could only imagine the fear and desperation the hikers must have felt as they tried to survive the night. 3 more between the tent and the trees. These bodies were found at varying distances from the tent, suggesting that they had tried to return to the camp but were overcome by the cold. The positions of their bodies indicated that they had fallen one by one, unable to make it back to the safety of their tent. The searchers were left with more questions than answers. The final four, buried under snow in a ravine, bore gruesome injuries, skull fractures, broken ribs, internal damage with no external trauma. These injuries were unlike anything the searchers had seen before. The force required to cause such damage was immense, yet there were no external wounds to explain it. It was as if they had been subjected to a powerful, unseen force. The discovery of these bodies added a new layer of mystery to the already perplexing case. One woman was missing her tongue, eyes, and lips. This gruesome detail shocked the investigators. The removal of these body parts suggested a level of violence that was hard to comprehend. Some speculated that animals had scavenged the bodies, but the precise nature of the injuries made this theory less likely. The mystery deepened as more details emerged from the autopsies. Autopsies baffled investigators, injuries akin to a car crash, yet no external wounds. The medical examiners were at a loss to explain the cause of death. The internal injuries were severe, yet there were no signs of a struggle or external trauma. It was as if the hikers had been subjected to a force that defied explanation. The autopsy results only added to the growing list of unanswered questions. Traces of radiation on their clothes added to the mystery. Some of the hikers' clothing was found to be contaminated with radioactive material. This discovery raised even more questions. Where had the radiation come from? Why were only some of the clothes affected? The presence of radiation suggested a possible link to secret military tests, but no definitive answers were found. Authorities closed the case, citing an unknown compelling force. The official conclusion was that the hikers had died due to an unknown compelling force, a vague and unsatisfactory explanation that did little to quell the speculation and theories that surrounded the incident. The case was closed, but the mystery remained, leaving many to wonder what really happened on that fateful night. Theories, avalanches, secret military tests, even aliens. Over the years, numerous theories have been proposed to explain the Dyatlov Pass incident. Some believe an avalanche forced the hikers to flee their tent, while others suggest they were victims of secret military tests gone wrong. There are even those who believe that extraterrestrial forces were involved. Each theory has its proponents and detractors, but none have been able to provide a definitive answer. In 2019, the Russian government reopened the case, blaming an avalanche. Yet many remain unconvinced. The new investigation concluded that an avalanche was the most likely cause of the hikers' deaths. However, this explanation has been met with skepticism. Critics argue that the evidence does not support the avalanche theory, pointing to the lack of typical avalanche signs and the nature of the injuries sustained by the hikers. The Dyatlov Pass Incident, a haunting riddle that refuses to be solved. Despite the passage of time and numerous investigations, the Dyatlov Pass Incident remains one of the most perplexing and haunting mysteries of the 20th century. The unanswered questions and eerie details continue to captivate and intrigue, ensuring that the story of the 9 hikers who perished on Dead Mountain will never be forgotten. The Dyatlov Pass Incident stands as a chilling reminder of the power and mystery of nature and the enduring human quest to uncover the truth.